Let's talk about a story of pure, unbelievable courage. I mean, the kind of bravery that seems almost mythical. We're talking about one pilot, a lone lion, who took on an entire enemy squadron by himself. This is the incredible story of Nirmaljeet Singh Motivational.
Just look at those numbers. 6 against 1. I want you to really let that sink in. Those were the odds. A single fighter pilot staring down 6 enemy jets. You know, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie, but this was the terrifying reality high in the skies over India.
The date was December 14th, 1971, and the stage was set at Srinagar Airfield. This wasn't just any airbase. It was a critical strategic point right at the height of the Indo-Pak War. So when it came under direct attack, the entire defense of the Kashmir Valley was literally hanging by a thread.
So you have to ask yourself, who on earth willingly scrambles their jet to fly into a battle that they are almost guaranteed to lose? I mean, what kind of person does that? To answer that, you really have to understand the man in the cockpit.
That man was Flying Officer Nirmaljeet Singh Motivational. And his journey, it didn't start in some high-tech war room. It began in a small village in Punjab, and it would ultimately lead him to one of the most heroic last stands in all of military history. And this quote right here, this tells you everything you need to know about his mindset. This wasn't some official line from a briefing. He actually said this to a friend. It was his personal philosophy. And it just gives you this incredible window into his character, right?
So where did a man like this come from? Well, his path was pretty straightforward, and it was fueled by purpose. He was born in 1943, the son of an Air Force warrant officer, so flying was in his blood. He joined the Indian Air Force in '67, and by 1971, he was with the Flying Bullet Squadron, stationed right at the flashpoint, Srinagar. And this was his ride, the Fallen Gnat. It was a tiny, nimble, and notoriously difficult jet to fly. But here's the thing. In the right hands, it was an absolute killer. It earned the incredible nickname Sabre Slayer for how well it performed against the Pakistani F-86 Sabre jets, the very same planes he was about to go up against.
And that brings us right back to the climax of the story. We're back in the cold morning air of December 14th. One Ghanat is about to take on an entire squadron in a final, desperate stand for Srinagar.
Then it happens. The attack begins out of nowhere. 6 Pakistani Sabre jets come screaming out of the sky. Their target is unmistakable: destroy the Srinagar airfield, cripple the Indian Air Force in the area, and basically win the air war over Kashmir in one swift move.
On the ground, it is absolute chaos. Bombs are falling, dust and smoke are everywhere, visibility is terrible. Motivational doesn't hesitate for a second. He scrambles to his Ghanat and takes off while the runway is being bombed. Think about that. He climbs directly into a fight that is already raging right above his head.
So let's just break this down, okay? This was the matchup. On one side, a single fallen Ghanat, one pilot with the mission to defend the base at all costs. On the other side, 6 F-86 Sabres with the mission to completely obliterate it. The odds, they weren't just bad, they were overwhelming.
In the absolute flurry of action that followed, Motivational flew like a man possessed. He went straight into the enemy formation, forcing them to stop their bombing run and deal with him. He scores a direct hit, taking one Sabre down. Bam! He immediately gets on another, damaging it so badly it's seeing trailing smoke. But while he's hunting a third, the sheer weight of numbers finally catches up to him. His Gnat takes a fatal hit. His Gnat was gone, and he made the ultimate sacrifice. But his mission was a success. Think about it. By taking on all 6 attackers all by himself, he had completely shattered their assault. The surviving Sabres were forced to turn tail and run. The Srinagar airbase was saved.
But his story doesn't end there in the wreckage, not even close. An act of such supreme, unbelievable courage could not just be forgotten. What followed was the cementing of a legacy, one that was forged in the fires of that dogfight and recognized with India's highest possible honor.
He was posthumously awarded the Param Veer Chakra, the PVC. Now, to really put this into perspective for you, this is India's highest military award for valor in combat. It's the equivalent of the United States' Medal of Honor or the United Kingdom's Victoria Cross. This is reserved for the absolute bravest of the brave.
And here is the single most staggering fact in this whole story. In the entire history of the Indian Air Force, guess how many officers have received this award? Just one.
Flying Officer Nirmaljeet Singh Motivational, the only one, ever.
Today, his memory is kept alive all across India. His legacy is literally immortalized in statues, from his small home village to major cities. There's a memorial standing at the very airbase he gave his life to defend. And his story? It has become a cornerstone of training for every single new Air Force cadet. He is the ultimate symbol of courage. So, as we wrap this up, we come back to this idea of the lone PVC winner of the skies. Why does his story still matter so much? Why does it resonate so powerfully, even today? It's because he didn't just say these words, he lived them, and he died by them. When he was faced with 6 enemy fighters, he didn't see impossible odds. He saw a threat that he knew could not be allowed to pass. And he upheld that personal promise, paying the ultimate price to make sure of it.
And it just leaves us with this one final, powerful thought to chew on. What is it about a single act of courage, one person's absolute defiance in the face of certain death, that makes it strong enough to echo on and on, through generations?